Hi, folks. My name is John Willson. I'm SOAR's Executive Director, and today I'm going to talk about 5 critical steps to creating structure in the home. These are lessons learned that we've learned here at SOAR, and have had families successfully apply those to creating structure in the home that can be really, quite productive. So, come with me on this journey, and let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about family guidelines and a full value contract. We're also going to talk about roles and responsibilities and how to parse those out, structuring meals and meal planning. We're going to talk about the evening meeting and how that can go and how productive it can be. We're going to talk about setting the schedules, and then I'm going to review for you some fun ideas and activities that that just bring a little zest and zeal to the family life. So let's start with family guidelines. I think that when you sit down as a family and you talk about what are the things that really matter to us as a family, and create create a family guideline or kind of a family contract. The 5 agreements that every SOAR group honors is that we'll treat each other and ourselves and surroundings with respect. We'll respect each other's physical boundaries. We'll use appropriate language at all times. We'll be safe and have fun. And everyone can add an additional thing themselves. And then the family will vote. And in fact, do we want that to be part of our guidelines? And then everybody signs the document so that we all know exactly where we stand and what the things that matter to us are. And that family guideline structure ought to be posted someplace, put someplace in prominence, on the the refrigerator in the kitchen, or I've even had families talk about that they framed it and put it someplace. And a really important note to these family guidelines is that they can be changed and shifted as the needs of the family change and shift. A little bit differently than the family guidelines is the full value contract. And this can be a really, really critical way for everybody in the family to recognize the gifts and strengths that they bring and the gifts and strengths that others bring, and then respecting that kind of process. And so, this is kind of what it looks like. I would say, I recognize that I bring a sense of calm and peace and structure to the household. And then I would go to each other family member and I would say, and I appreciate, just how much fun you have and sort of the zest for life you bring. And I might look at another child and say, and I really appreciate how organized you keep your room and how you're willing to kind of hold us all accountable. And then, so you'll say and understand the gifts that others bring to the home and that you're going to respect that. Then you're going to talk about respecting the expectations each family member has regarding group behavior. And you kind of go back to the family contract that you've just all signed. And you're asserting in a really significant way that we all have a role and part to play in helping that be successful. And then finally, everybody signs, just like the family contract, everyone signs the full value contract. This is the building block of creating that sort of familial sense that can help you kind of work through some tough stuff. It's also at SOAR, it happens on the very first day. Kids create their own sort of paradigm, their own contract about what the expectations with each other are. All right, so the next step in creating structure at home is assigning roles. And again, these are just ideas and they're concepts that we've designed at SOAR that you can try and manipulate to some degree to have them happen at home. And so, our leader of the day is Yoda. And as if I were to utilize this in the home and one of my kids was the Yoda, then I would probably, whisper in their ear, hey, what needs to happen next? Whose job is that? And they ensure that the family guidelines are being followed. They facilitate the evening meeting, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. and they hold on to important information. They also have some cleaning responsibilities because everybody needs to help clean to keep the house sort of neat and tidy. And they clean the kitchen table and they will clean one bathroom. Captain Planet, they are the making sure that they do a sweep of all the area and the trash is picked up. They ensure that folks wash their hands before meals. They bring dishes from the kitchen table into the kitchen for cleanup. If you're doing an activity outside, we all know how important staying hydrated is. And so they will do that. They'll sweep the living room and dining area or vacuum as the case may be. And they'll wipe down the dining table where everybody ate. Everybody's participating. It's not just left to one person. And the goal of all this is to sort of create this routine that happens every day and folks shift and move regarding the things that they do, which allows everybody to be involved in that process. The coach, the activity director, they make sure that all family members have the proper clothing and essentials for an activity. They're facilitating a sunscreen circle. They might carry and display a family flag or a team mascot if you do that. By the way, all of our groups have a team name and a flag that they produce. They keep up the family morale through songs or stories or jokes. They carry a camera, they take pictures, they might post, something on, they do an Instagram takeover for the family. They are the ones who unload the dishwasher and they're supposed to help with laundry. All right, the equipment manager, they set and they clean. It is the least fun job and the job that nobody wants, but it's an incredibly important job. And it's why, I would encourage you to rotate daily. They make sure the family has all the gear they need. They set the table for family meal times and they clean the dishes at every meal. And then finally, we've got the chef or the maker of deliciousness. They oversee the preparation of each meal. They make sure that everyone gets an equal portion, and then they put away all the leftover food and clean the stove. So how does it go? And I want to emphasize how critically important I believe meals are to your family. Think of, if you're having breakfast somewhat together, you're having lunch together on the weekends and dinner together on most nights. If you have that system wired and you create that structure, that will then transcend to other things. And so meals are just an absolute critical time to implement structure. So what happens first? Chef begins the food preparation. Next, the Yoda clears off the kitchen table, makes sure that it's going to be ready. The equipment manager sets the kitchen table. All right, the chef serves the food. All right, and then everyone, by the way, in between that and Captain Planet bringing the dishes and wipes down the table, enjoy the meal, have fun with the meal. The chef puts away the leftover food and cleans the stove. The equipment manager cleans the dishes, and then the Captain Planet sweeps the dining room, and then finally, the coach unloads the dishwasher. And if the dishwasher needs to be unloaded prior to this all beginning, then that can happen at the very start. One of the reasons that I love this system is if you've ever been or seen a household that once the meal is over, everybody understands the thing that they need to do, and they all kind of move in concert. It happens really quickly and it happens very effectively. The inverse of that is you end the meal, everybody kind of scatters, and it's left to one person to have to clean up the entire mess. And often that person is you. And so I thoroughly believe that we don't ask enough of our kids in these days, and I am guilty of that. I am absolutely guilty of that. And so I really love seeing families utilize something like this to kind of bring some structure into the home. All right, menu planning. Again, food is so important, and I think that individuals should be responsible for having the opportunity to develop a meal. So that rotates, and so what? So what if you're eating, hot dogs and mac and cheese on your son or daughter's favorite night where they get to plan? The important thing is that they got to do the planning. But these are some important questions that I think bring structure to that process. What's available as a starting point? Are there any allergies that we have to contend with in our household? My wife is gluten-free. I can't eat strawberries. My daughter can't eat apples. And so we have to kind of work around that. My son is lactose intolerant. That's the age that we're in. How much time do you have to prepare the meal? Does it need to be a quick meal? Can you spend all day cooking? Yesterday, I asked the kids what did they want, and they my son's like, I said I'm gonna try and make Panda Express style whatever food you want, and he chose sesame chicken, and so he and I worked on that from scratch, and we made honey sesame chicken Panda Express style. He gave it an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10, so that was pretty good. Ensure each meal contains protein, fruits, and vegetables. And then I think, this is a good guide. What day, what's the breakfast, what's the protein, the fruit and veggies, what are the snacks of the day, lunch and dinner. And when you create those, you create opportunity for critical ways for bringing structure to something, and some ingenuity and some creativity. I think also, as I'll go back to this quickly, making a shopping list and having kids help with the shopping can be really helpful. Okay, the evening meeting. It's one of my favorite parts of the day, and it's something that we've integrated into sometimes we do it at dinner time, sometimes we'll do it after dinner. And it is facilitated by the Yoda, and it has 5 parts. We do a Today in History, and each family member shares a fun memory from the day. What happened today that was, kind of awesome. Then we do a goal check-in. Did we have any personal goals that we were trying to meet today? One of my personal goals right now is that each day when I come home, I'll choose some small area of the house to improve. If you think about it, we all have goals. My daughter, it's, to do homework. My son is off at college, but when he comes home, he's got some social goals that he wants to meet, connect with people. Then we'll do a processing activity. I'm going to share some of those ideas with you here in a moment. We'll review the schedule for the next day, and then we'll exchange roles and who's going to do what. Now, you don't have to absorb or accept all of this in full totality. You can enjoy it, pieces of it. You can create your own dynamic in your home, of course, to see what's going to meet your needs. Here are some processing ideas. How did someone help you today? What was a challenging moment for you today, and how did you get through it? If you could possess one superpower, what would it be and why? What are 3 things you appreciate about yourself? If you could have dinner with anyone alive or dead, who would it be? If money was no object, what would you go and do? What do you do when you need to relax? A thank you circle where everybody gets to thank everybody in the circle for something they did. Rosebud, rose and thorn. What was the best part of your day? What was the maybe downside of your day? Now I have a side rule on the rose and thorn, and that is that if you want to do 2 roses, you can do 2 roses, but you can't do 2 thorns. Who is someone in your life you rely on, and how do they support you? Tell a trait you saw that you admire in somebody. I might ask everyone to close their eyes and take 3 deep breaths and picture a place that makes you happy. Go ahead and do that now. Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and visualize a place that makes you happy. I bet most of you pictured some type of natural scene, maybe a mountain lake or a babbling brook. That's the power of being outside. I've got a debrief grab bag, a filled bag with random items. Reach in and pull it out and say, this is how does this relate to my day? I might pull out a highlighter and say, well, this highlighter, I was able to focus on things that really mattered. And one of those things was, and that's how I might use the highlighter as a metaphor to relate to something during my day. Charades, act out a particularly positive part of your day, and folks have to guess what it was. And then popcorn, think of a funny part of your day, and when you're ready, you don't have to go in a circle, you just pop up and you share it with the rest of the family. those are just some fun processing ideas that make the evening meeting, it brings some depth to it. Okay, scheduling and routine, critical components to creating structure in the home. And so I've created kind of these are the major things that happen for kids: wake up, make bed, clean room, breakfast, chores, school or activity block, lunch cleanup, school or activity blocks in the afternoon, free time, dinner prep, dinner cleanup, evening activity, evening meeting, nighttime preparation, lights out. And so it might look like this when you really give it some thought and you work together and you talk to each other about what that's going to look like. And so, 7 a.m. wake up, 7:30 make bed, clean room, 8 a.m. breakfast and get ready, 8:30 a.m. chores, 9 a.m. school starts. Of course, I know that in most schools, you have to back that up by a whole hour. 10:30 gardening, this might be a weekend. 11 outdoor play, 12 lunch and cleanup, 12:30 reading, quiet time until 1:30, some foreign language, art, free play, dinner, then clean up, a family game, an evening meeting, nighttime and prep, and bedtime lights out. Now, I want to just a little side note. If I were to say 6 strategies to creating structure at home, the 6th would be a really healthy nighttime routine. When sleep hygiene is so important, and when you create the structure that allows for it to be the same way every single night, especially with younger children, that can be really, really important. Okay, before I go on, I asked my family what they felt were some of the most critical structures that things that brought structure to the home. And I got the following answers. The rose thorn, every night, sitting down and having a chance to share the best part of your day and maybe a challenging part of your day was one of the answers. Another one was, hey, making sure that I didn't have free playtime until my homework was done. And so I couldn't get onto the computer and just play games until I had completed my homework, was my son's. Another one was that each morning when we would go to have our morning routine, one of the things that was part of our morning routine was my favorite thing about you. And so on the way to school, my kids would share with each other their favorite thing about everyone else in the car, and that made a difference. Another one of the structures was that less was more, and that, and even though it didn't happen on a daily basis, once or twice a year, we would take a room, one of the kids' rooms, and pull everything out of that room, and then go through everything and create a giveaway, throwaway pile, and a keep pile. And that, that keeping kind of that less is more concept down was really critical. And then of course the final one was the fact that that we did evening meals together, and that we created some routine around those, and that allowed us to really be successful when we had at least one opportunity a day to spend time with each other and share our day. Okay, so I'm going to close out with some other fun activity ideas, and here we go. Write stories together, create an art project, and even host an art show. Watch a movie and then make popcorn. Catch a beautiful sunset. Drive someplace with snacks and go check out a sunset. Set a $10 limit and see who can buy the most interesting item online. Or even better, on a weekend, go to a flea market and see who can come up with the funnest item for only $10. Make a family reels or a TikTok. And, if you don't know what those are, ask your kids. It's how they're interfacing with the world these days. Play tag games, do a science experiment, play video games together, play games online, find some game that everybody can participate on the phone with and actually have an engaged experience. Here are a few others. Go fly a kite. I got into stunt kites with my kids, and we would get out there and we'd get a couple kites flying when the wind was just right. Have a barbecue, create an obstacle course in your backyard, pitch a tent and sleep outside and roast marshmallows. Play with squirt guns and water balloons, and maybe even set up a long piece of plastic and have a slip and slide. Build paper airplanes, and then turn it into a contest and see who can fly the longest, and then do modifications. Have a dance or karaoke party. Write or produce a play together, and if you've got Legos, have a build off. And then one fun thing that we've done is, we've attended some escape rooms, and then we've kind of made our own version of an escape room, and that has been a lot of fun. But the best idea is this one. Let your kids come up with some fun activity ideas. I hope that you have gotten something out of these structures, and that you're going to be able to implement them in the home. And I want to remind you that next month we're going to talk about motivation, salting the hay, how to move and mitigate some non-compliance. So again, this is John Willson with SOAR. I encourage you to check out our website at soarnc.org. If you type in /webinars, all of the webinars that we've been hosting for these many years will come up, and you can take a look at any one that you want to. And I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful day.